Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, it has been a minute, and I'm sorry about that. A lot has happened in my life, a lot has changed. Um, but I think one of the last things I posted was a little sneak peek update on my project. I was going to be doing a vaporizer project on the Toyota Camry, and that fell through. I found out in the process of prepping the cars for the engine and transmission transfer that the car I was going to use had a broken block. Um, the engine ran. Found out the transmission was good, but when the car got apparently it was jumped, it sheared the motor mount from the back of the block, and I thought it was just the motor mount that was broken. Turns out it was actually the back of the block that was broken, and it was unrepairable. So that project got scrapped, and then we picked up that van. Well, the van luckily, it was a 95. It was the same OBD1 system as the 1995 Camry that I was going to use, and as the previous Toyota Corolla in my other videos. So I can use the vaporizer system on that. Now, I picked that van up for 500 bucks. Thank you for my contributor. Um, all the monies that was going to go into the Toyota project has gone into this. However, the van was not in as good a shape as I thought it was going to be. Engine and transmission were in good shape, but just about everything else needed to be replaced. Um, so let me show you where we are, and I'll explain what has happened. And with this short video, I'll try to make it short, and then I will post a video compilation of all the pictures of the progress that I've made and we've been through. Okay, but here we go. So remember the first video on the van. It was in pretty rough shape. It was a cargo van, of course. It had the cage in the middle and the seat and all that stuff. Well, I took all that out. I ended up having to buy a 1992 passenger van for parts because this is the crossover year, the 95. When it crossed over from 94 to 96, it had parts interior, all the interior stuff, and some of the mechanical stuff was 94, and they don't make interior parts for these vehicles anymore, but the body is 96. And I couldn't find anything for the interior, so I ended up picking up a whole other van for $500. And what we did was I got the wheels off of it, all four wheels. I've got to change out this hub and the calipers on this side. Uh, and what I did was I took the removable bench seat for the passengers out of the red van, one of them, there's two, and I took the frame off the seat. I cut it down, modified it, and welded it up to fit the bucket seat. And this is a passenger front bucket seat out of that van combined with that frame. And I made up tabs and welded it all into the body. And this seat is completely removable. Sorry for the shade there. It's completely removable. And it also has not only a full shoulder harness, but it has an individual lap belt as well, so it can be used either way. I built a bed frame internally, and it has two cabinets in the front. This door, of course, came off the parts van because if you remember, the other white door only had plexiglass in that window. I need to swap out these back doors as well, but what we've got going on right now is I built this bed frame in here, built these drawers, and they're on rollers and they slide in and slide out, and you can see they've got stuff in them. I have a 40 amp RV, it's a 40 amp RV power supply / battery charger. So when I stop somewhere, what I'll be able to do is plug it into 110, and the 40 amp DC power will provide power for the LED lights. And I'm gonna have LED lights. They're gonna be internal. The stereo system, I'm gonna have a vent that's gonna go on the roof. And then I'm gonna have a secondary deep cycle battery that's gonna go on this side. So when the vehicle's running, it'll have an isolator that will power or charge both batteries, the front battery and the back battery while it's driving. But once it stops, it'll disengage that isolator, and then all the services in the back will run off of that battery or the power supply if it's plugged in. Something else I got off of the other van was it had this good hitch. It's a frame mount hitch. I got that put on, and I got the electrical wired up. I did manage to get a stereo system in it. These speakers are temporary. And something else I did was, since this is got to be for my daughter, that's one reason why I put this seat in. The primary reason was so I'd have a space for myself, my wife, and my daughter. But I also built this. Now this is a little fold-out table that, so when we park we can use that, but it also fits perfectly from between this edge of the bed and the back seat, and we put her baby bed mattress on top of that so she has a bed to sleep on. Now what I had to do with this when I got it, I thought it was in better shape, but it turned out that I had the exhaust system was completely rusted out. That has been completely replaced. It's got a new exhaust system, a new front windshield. The fuel system was garbage, 100% trashed. I actually ended up replacing the fuel pump 3 times before I finally got it all figured out, and I ended up putting a new tank in it, new fuel lines, new fuel filter, new fuel pump, the entire assembly, all the way up to and including the fuel injector and the fuel injector wiring harness. Now this is the Vortec 4.3. It's the first generation after the throttle body series, which means you have to take the intake apart to get in there to get the spider injector, and I actually replaced the spider injector twice because the first one was defective. So a completely new rebuilt fuel system. The windshield on the top, this thing was so rusted out that I could literally stick my fingers through the metal up here. Got the new windshield put in, and then had to go back, and even after I got the new windshield it was still leaking, so I had to reseal it. And you can see the discoloration across the top. That's actually Flex Seal. Doesn't leak anymore. Got some lights on it. Right after I got it running, I was driving it and had a deer decided it liked my front end, because these lights are really dim. So I put these on, got these on closeout sale. These two are low beam, this is high beam. They are independently switched with LEDs on the dash. So we've got a lot of it going. It's only got now 115,000 miles on it. Powertrain is completely redone, a new ignition system, new distributor, or a rebuilt distributor. I rebuilt that as well as the fuel system. And I've got new shoes all the way around this thing. So it's getting there. Good thing, like I said once again, is that it's a 95. So all of the electronic controls and stuff I was going to do for the fuel system to add in, the vaporizer system to add into the Toyota, I can add into this, and that's the project. I just got this legal this month. It is finally ready to go, finally completely done, ready to be driven on the road. So now I can move forward with the next step of modifying the fuel system and getting it boosted up from its stock performance. And I think right now it's hovering right around 16 miles per gallon. I'm hoping with the vaporizer system I'll be able to get in the mid-20s to up to maybe 30. It is a 4.3 V6, so it uses a bit more fuel, but we'll see what happens. I know I got at least 100, well, almost 100%, about 98% more. Well, I'm not sure. I took it from 23 to 40 miles per gallon on the Toyota Corolla with a 1.6 liter. This is a 4.3 liter V6. It's pretty large. So I'm hoping that if I can get it from 16 to at least 25, I'll be happy with that. But it's going to take some tinkering. I've got some of the project parts that I need. I've got a few more that I've got to get a hold of. And then I have to figure out how to make space under this hood because this van doesn't have a lot of area. But everything planned for the Toyota will go into this. Thanks once again to the contributors. I'm so sorry it took so long. I'll make another video on what all has happened within life for me, to explain a little bit of why it took so long and what's been going on. But thanks guys, I appreciate y'all showing up. If y'all do, give me a thumbs up, and stick around because there's going to be more to come. Thank you guys. Bye.